and welcome to our live stream hangouts that we have every Wednesday. We've recently moved from 2 p.m. now to 4 p.m. so more of you guys can watch and we can chat. So let me launch my chat right here. If you have comments, questions, or you have suggestions, I'd love to hear them. Type them in and I get to see them all here, so let me fire up this. So whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, type in your comments and they all come at me at once. So I do my best to check you guys out. All right, there we go. Everything is fired up, so start typing away. So for today's project, this behind the scenes is actually an opportunity for you guys to see kind of like how we work things, what projects are coming up the pipeline for future shows. Sometimes it's something automotive for Gearhead Diva, other times it's something geek inspired for Nerd Dungeon, and then sometimes it's cooking or for pets or a variety of other shows that we're launching. So this particular one, some of you saw the message, this thing is about to get naked. Yes, buck naked. And a lot of you are looking at this like, wow, look at the finish on this. It is beautiful. And I can see that on camera. This thing translates so well, the richness of the wood. And it's like, well, how can you sand all that off? Are you nuts? Well, we have big plans for this dresser. And if you take a very close look at it, it's actually quite chipped and the finish is missing in a lot of the areas. So we're actually gonna upgrade it, kind of transform it, because this is going to be our Superman versus Goku battle dresser. That's right. So I always wanted to try making some kind of like comic book inspired wallpaper, and much like we've always debated growing up, Godzilla versus King Kong. Now, who would win in that scenario? Well, after growing up and going through high school, I got into comic books big time. So Superman and also anime. So a lot of you that are into anime know probably one of the most prominent characters, Goku. So if you were to pick Goku and Superman in a battle, who do you think would win? And that was the inspiration for this dresser, because we can actually put burn marks going down the drawers, and we can make one side Superman and one side Goku and have them battling it out all the way to the finish. So I want to hear from you guys right now who you think would win, Superman or Goku, and we'll get into their superpowers as we move this project along. So step one, I guess, is just removing some of these handles. So let's tackle that first. And because this is a behind the scenes, we actually do our shooting too. So you'll see this little camera kind of wandering around as we capture everything we need for the real show. This is not the real show. This is like Tenacious D, like the tribute to the real show, so it's never as amazing as the real show. But what's cool about this is that you guys watch the fails happen in real time. So in our clip show, we kind of brush over the fails, but here you get the and the moments of how this stuff goes down. And we all know nothing goes as smoothly as you see on TV. So starting with our dresser here, and ooh, that old lady smell. It smells like you walk into like grandma's house, and as long as you're kind of like tiptoeing around, it's not bad, but the second you move something, like the grandma smell like hits you, like right here in this general area. So let's get this going. And I have to admit, these old dressers, they just don't make them like they used to. These things are tanks. And I actually found this at a local thrift shop, and I saw it there, and I just love the look of it. It was the perfect height. And right here in the shop, we've actually been using this as a craft cabinet. So I have my regular toolboxes. I don't like to put anything too heavy in here. So as just like a craft cabinet for glue guns and you know all the various costuming prop making we make, this is actually pretty cool, and also to store a bunch of bits. So it's been really useful, but it kind of doesn't match what we have going on. So let's give it a makeover, put some new clothes on. So let me see what I got going on here. Very simple here, very simple. So all it is just a Phillips screwdriver or flathead screwdriver to remove those. So before we do that, in typical slowing down fashion, let me set up this camera. And we all know to do a project doesn't take very long, but when you add the camera aspect and the filming aspect, those of you that have done YouTube videos, it just like doubles the time that it takes to do things. It's like really, oh. So let me get this guy set up, and it's like E.T. He just went up like that, little E.T. head. So let me turn him on, see what kind of view I'm getting. Flip this up, and I'm gonna turn him towards me and see if I can get a good view of this while you guys are getting a good view. This camera here is getting a good view. Well, hopefully that is the objective. So I'm just gonna turn him somewhat like this and turn him down. And remember to hit the record button, because sometimes I have way too much fun like talking to you guys rather than actually working, you know. Anyways, it looks like this one I can either use a Phillips or I can go ahead and use a flathead. And for some of these screws, I prefer to use a flathead just because you get a better grip. So I'm just going to turn this like that so you all see it. And of course, working backwards, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, but it's opposite, you know, of course. So one of the things I really liked about this dresser are the different kinds of knobs. So you have this little guy right here, which you can paint a certain color, although I really do like the gold because it just kind of reminds me of, you know, just kind of an Asian inspired cabinet. And here, oh, some of you are already chiming in, it's the Superman. So Peter DM22 says Superman. Pfft, everybody knows that. All right, I'll take that. I heart him, oh, I heart him in the chest area type of username there. We'll just keep it rated G there. What exactly is going on here? Well, if you just join us, iHeart, we're actually converting this dresser and making it a Superman versus Goku dresser. And what we're gonna do there is just kind of create a battle scene going down, you know, the different drawers. And this is behind the scenes, so it's not like an official video or anything. This is kind of where we take time and film upcoming projects and make sure we get all the shots for you guys to see both live and for our show later on. But the fun thing about this is that you get to see, well, all the successes, but mainly all the fails as well, which is always part of the process. A lot of times with the YouTube videos, you see everything go, oh, hunky-dory, and everything's amazing, where in fact, it takes a lot longer to do some of these jobs, whether you're working on cars or home improvement projects. All right, so this one's almost out. So these have been pretty easy to remove, and here's kind of like a different style that I like right here. So it's more oval. So that gives us a different look that we can kind of toy around with it later. So that's that. I'm gonna try and keep all these guys together. And moving on right here, we got one more knob. And the plan here is to see how far we get. Maybe we can get to sanding these things. Maybe even painting, I don't know. What do you guys think? So what color do you guys think this should fly? I have a couple ideas, maybe kind of like a light gray, and then we can put burn marks on it because of course you have Superman's super sight or his laser eyeballs, and then you have Goku's energy balls, his blue energy balls that he sends out to his enemies. So if you're not familiar with Goku, I know probably the majority are familiar with Superman and his origins. Of course, he came down to planet Earth from Kryton because Kryton was gonna, you know, explode. So that's not a great situation, and he was found by a couple that raised him, and he came to love Earth and become its protector. And I don't really know who came up with the whole Goku versus Superman battle idea, because the two guys are actually very similar, and it just doesn't seem like they would have very much to fight about. So I don't know, maybe one of them becomes a zombie or something like that, and the other one has to take him out. That's really the only reason I can think of why Goku and Superman would get into some kind of battle. So if you know, then drop me a hint, because I don't know where this became so popular, this concept, and some more of you guys are chiming in. RJ Flynn 3 says, hi Rachel, hi back, thanks for joining. And a guy on the couch XX, well, this guy, he's always got an opinion for everything. He watches our streams here. Vanilla Soups versus Vanilla Goku. Maybe Soups has a chance. Once Goku hits SSJ2, it's all over. I don't know. I think you would be very surprised. Superman, I think, can pull some things out of his tidy Superman costume, his spandex Superman costume. Doesn't look like there's much room in there, but I think he's got some secret pockets where he pulls out some more powers. Anyways, so we have our first drawer here undone, all done there. So, one down and a couple more to go, but I think what I'm gonna do, just to feel like I'm accomplishing a ton of stuff, is remove the drawers and tackle them later, and let's get to sanding this. So, like I said, Superman came down from Kryton in the spaceship, and his parents were trying to save him, and he fell in love with Earth, and he's like, well, I'm gonna protect Earth now. Well, Goku had a very similar story with a few kind of exceptions. Whereas Superman, his real name is Kal-El, well, Goku's real name is Kakarot. And so he too was sent down to Earth from his planet. And I'm just gonna move this back a little bit. From his planet, and his name is Kakarot. That's his first name. So Kal-El, Kakarot, a couple similarities there, but one big difference. When Goku was sent down as a little baby, well, he's an extraterrestrial alien, and he kind of doesn't know this because he arrives at Earth, and man, he is ready to do destruction because they actually programmed him to destroy the planet. Oh my gosh. Well, as fate would have it, Goku fell down and really massively hit his head and got complete amnesia. So that programming was wiped, and he became the hero of Earth. So we have Goku and Superman, both heroes, and you're like, well, Superman never had this killing urge. Well, I beg to differ, because in the 1930s, in those comic books, Superman was portrayed as way more aggressive and rough, and oftentimes he would throw his victims or the evil people against the wall, and it was very much understood in the comic books that these guys died, you know, when you slam a wall that hard. Although it wasn't depicted with all the graphics and the blood and all that, the reader understood this. Well, it wasn't until the 1940s where they got a new editor, and they're like, you know what, we gotta soften up Superman. They gave him really high morals of which he abides by, much like Goku. So both of them had kind of a rough start there in the beginning, and now they're on the moral high ground, helping humanity in their adopted planet. So I ask you people, what would cause Superman and Goku to get into any kind of fight? Anyways, let's start sanding while you ponder that over. And let's see if I can position this little guy for you guys so we can see what the heck is going on here. As you can see on the camera, this finish looks amazing. Like, why are we sanding it off? But it actually isn't as good as you guys may think. So I'm just gonna move this camera right here and get this little guy set up for us, for him to see what I'm doing here up top. And I'm gonna start sanding this with 100 grit sandpaper, and then we're gonna move up from there. And this may be kind of in your guys' way, but let's see if I can get this adjusted here, and that looks pretty good. Our main filming camera is happy here, and my head will be cut off for some of you guys, and some of you guys are like clapping like, oh yeah, you know, maybe she won't talk as much. Yeah, I have bad news about that. But let's start sanding, and what I try and do with the top of this is sand with the grain, because this is going to leave some sanding marks, and if you sand against the grain, then the sanding marks are a lot more apparent. So I can go ahead and do with the grain, and then we can knock out all those sanding marks with maybe higher up sandpaper. So we'll see how it goes, but the idea is basically to knock all this off as fast as we can, and then go in with a little hand block and get all the little corners and things that we can't access with the big boy. So let's just do some rough knockage with this. And again, it's 100 grit sandpaper. So all of you guys, I'm about to start this. Just turn down the volume in case this is a bit loud. So, with all that talking, my camera here fell asleep, which happens all the time. So here we go. Ears, everybody. All right, let's see what we got going on here. And you can see that that finish is most of its way on its way out. I might actually switch to something a little bit grittier to knock off some of the thickness that's built up here on top. And it's one of the things that I noticed, that the finish is quite lacking in certain areas and built up a lot more in other areas. So let's see here if I can do a quick switcheroo. And I believe I have, let's try this guy right here, this 80 grit. See how he does. I always prefer to start with something more tame and then move up from there if I have to, rather than to start with something really rough and then, well, you just created a bunch more work for yourself. So Peter DM22 says red, white, and blue balls. So I'm gonna assume you mean the children's colored balls there. But I recall Goku having blue energy balls, so I don't recall any other colors, but good idea. All right, so let's see how this one does. Ears, everybody. Looking pretty good. Our little waist trap. Just gonna reposition it. There we go. Kick some of this off, and we got some ventilation going in here a little bit. So that way it doesn't get too dusty and out of control. So I'm almost done this top here. And I'm going to hit these areas up where the finish is a little bit thicker here. Hit that down. Giving my arm a little bit of a break. I'm gonna get a, I don't know, a noodle arm from doing that with all the vibration. But it's looking pretty good up here. 80, I think, did the trick, and we're kind of working this finish back here until we have something that we can paint on. Now, of course, it doesn't have to be perfect because we're just gonna put a solid color up top. But if you were going to restain this, then yeah, you kind of want everything to look pretty perfect here. My main goal is just to get something that we're gonna have something to adhere to, like some nice adhering. So we can work these sides here as well, just to give us a break from the top here. And let me move on. And I'm hot. I don't know about you guys, but I'm gonna get the other fan going a little bit and fire your messages back up. There we go. I'll be back, people. All right, we are back, got some more movement going. So we have Brian Nordwall, safety glasses, dust mask, and hearing protection would be good. Right on, you're 100% correct. The dust is actually not too bad in here. We have everything just kind of being sucked out as we speak. Yes, eye protection is always good, especially with these varnishes. They can always chip off and all, but we're going for a superhero theme. Maybe one of these things will get into me and it'll give me like Spider-Man, you know, when the Spider-Man bit them, and I'll be Varnish Girl. I don't know, what would that superpower look like? Interesting. Maybe I'd be real shiny and, you know, honey looking, you know, like a nice honey finish or something like that. But I like kind of this red spicy look myself. So moving onward with, oh my gosh, you guys guessed it, more exciting sanding. Oh my God, this is what goes on behind the scenes when you guys just click the YouTube video and be like, oh, this is quite pleasant. No, it's not at all. So I'm gonna move this camera over here, my ET, to take a look at what we're doing here, and I'm just setting him up. And my hair right now, people, looks amazing. I need to remember to rock this look more frequently, right guys? So let me see here, and I got that pretty set up. And let me tighten that camera. And there we go. We'll just start. Well, let's move him close, and then he'll totally see what's going on there. This happened right here. You know, might get a sander in the face, but is what it is. All right, so our little bag is still doing good here, or well. And I have one of these sanders that has a bag collection, which works mostly okay. You know, it would be a lot more dusty in here were it not the case. And of course you have to orient your sanding paper so that way the dust goes through the hole and into the bag. So let's knock off a little bit of here. And of course these edges I'm gonna have to go in with a better, like a sanding block or something, like a hand block. I'm just gonna relaunch this right here. Wake up. All right, so continuing on, and I might kind of get in the view here and block you guys, so sorry about that. I'll try and sand as sideways as I can. We'll see how that works. So with this, we're just gonna knock off some, and let me turn this on again, and here we go. Ears, everybody. Block you guys even more right here. Oh yeah, look at the back of my head there. That's fabulous. So these tiny little areas right here probably hit up with a sanding block, but I'm gonna move in here and probably do this center area here. And let me move my little ET camera here to capture all that for you guys not watching. But for you guys watching, you get to see all this amazing fun that we have here, making these vids for you guys. All right, but no, I do have fun. I enjoy coming up with just cool ideas of doing stuff. You know, sometimes the creations are awesome. Sometimes, you know, it's kind of a learning experience for the next time. So, Razor Splat, hello, great sanding, woo! Oh my gosh, I think he is way more excited about sanding than I am, so hopefully he's doing the same thing and his hair just looks this fine sanding hairspray that we have going on together here. So, the back Thankfully, we don't have to sand because it's looking pretty good there. So I'm going to ditch this stool here and I'm going to shrink. And if you guys are joining us, well, we're turning this dresser into a Superman versus Goku battle dresser. So chime in who would win. Superman versus Goku, and again, Goku is from well-known anime character, and he conjures up all his energy and he sends it out to his foes as a blue energy ball. So, I don't know, it seems like Superman has way more up his sleeve than Goku. I don't know, just initial thought right there. Alright, so... short break, and I'm going to move this back it on up a little bit for you guys here. There we go. That way I have a little more room and I can scooch on over. So Razor Spot said she's gonna have huge muscles after that. So either it's gonna be like huge muscles or noodle arms. Oh my gosh, because the vibration, let me tell you, it's noodling up my arms. So hold on, maybe I need to boil them in water, make them al dente again. So here we go, continuing on. And oh, I have a little helper. Little helper is joining me, and this is Eeyore. He's our rescue dog and he loves projects. So anytime that I start a project, sometimes we have to get him out of the room because he gets super excited about projects, and he loves power tools. So if he hears a power tool, he will come running down from the bedroom to want to help, and see how his method of helping is actually kind of doing this type of thing. So you're trying to work and you just can't get the movement, and he loves showing people his bum bums. And now he's going to, are you gonna lay down? You're gonna, okay. So he's like, please take a break. I can't take this noise anymore. And you're talking to the other people and you're not paying attention to me. So now he's completely asleep here. And he snores really loud. So I have to finish some sanding, but now for me petting you, you look exactly like I do. We are covered in our fine wood dust glitter, so we're ready to go out and hit the clubs, right? Hit the DIY clubs. All right, so now he is doing the whole belly thing, and I'm super cute. Please don't make me leave this situation because, you know, we all know that. Oh, you're licking it, so you're just, you're lubricating my dresser here. So, all right, there we go. Hang out back there. And no. He's like, I'm not leaving. I know what's going on here. You're trying to trick me. I was like trying to like throw a little treat or something. So he's far too smart for me. So, all right, Mr. Waggity Tail, I'm gonna start sanding, and I'll bring you in for, I know, handle removing. Yeah, you can help with that. So let's go. All right, so I'm repositioning my camera after that cameo. He loves doing cameos all the time, and I know a lot of you guys probably have pets too in the workshop, and of course, they hang around for almost all the projects, but certain power tools, we kind of build a little barrier fence for them, but they're known to break through from time to time. So if you have a DIY pet or a little shop helper, post a pic. I love seeing them. Some of you guys have them all outfitted with little wrench holder jackets and all that kind of thing. So definitely post your pics. You saw my giant helper. He loves to just put himself between me and the project just to, well, you know, get more attention for himself. So continuing on, let me fire this guy back up again, and we're making some good progress. My 80 grit now has seen better days, but you know what? I use these things till they cry. You know, I don't just willy-nilly toss sandpaper. I will back them out. I will do whatever I have to do to keep them in the game until there's not a grain left on them. So, especially for a project like this where we're just kind of knocking down the shiny, really that's all the whole objective. We don't really have to get down to complete wood here. And again, so it's just to knock down some of these shiny areas and then we'll be good to go. So this is a rather easy project. If you were going to restain this, and yeah, you have to knock the whole thing down and start from scratch. So you like my sander? I know you love my sander. So here, you want to lubricate it? Would you like your sander licked or unlicked? It's like, just kidding. All your tools are licked. Right? Yeah, so Razor Splat says Doggo wants to help. Indeed, he's been trying to help all day long. So now he's navigating the tripods here with cameras, so you guys might get knocked over. You can see it wiggling, so you're about to go down. All right, come here, Eeyore, help me. As in the other room. Bye-bye. All right, ears, everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and move this camera as well down, our main recording camera here. So that way, later when the show actually airs, you guys will all see what's going on here. And that's probably the toughest part, is getting busy with work and forgetting to reposition the camera, and so then you do all this amazing work and your arms are tired and you're tired and while you're looking kind of like this, and you didn't catch any of it on the camera or on film. Or I guess we don't use film anymore, it's digital chips, you know. So alright, you can see the 80 grit sandpaper, it's doing its thing, but man, it's too early to retire. So how many of you with sandpaper now, come on, tell the truth, don't lie, because I so already know the truth. How many of you guys will use a piece of sandpaper but not have the guts to throw it away, like keep it in your toolbox for emergency? You know, like even like a really beat up piece of sandpaper can come in handy during an emergency. So I'm definitely one of those people where you just have so very little to do and I'm like, oh, bust out the old piece, or you need something kind of in between an 80 or something else, and then you're like, well, this is so worn, it's not even really an 80 anymore, and so you bust that out. So come on, admit it, people. All right, so Razor Splat has a great idea. Easier to sand on the side like that, or flip the dresser on its side and sand like you did the top. Totally true. You are so right. But for your all viewing pleasure, I like making things way tougher on myself. It's a lot easier for this camera and that camera to catch what I'm doing in this upright position. So yes, if I had none of you guys watching and I was in here all by myself, first of all, I wouldn't be wearing this. I would actually be doing this in my jammies. True story. And yes, I would have this flipped on its side. Much easier. The sanding, or the sander, actually does most of the job for you when you can just rest its weight right on the, you know, whatever you're sanding, rather than to have to hold it with one arm and go up and down and have to apply pressure and stuff. So right on, Razor Splat, look at you. Gotta bring you up in here, you know, with me, and then we, you know, you tackle one side, I tackle the other side, and get all this dust, exchange sandpaper stories with each other. So we're almost done this, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish it. Well, hopefully. Mostly done. We're going to tackle all these little edges here with our hand sander, our block sanding, and same thing with these edges here. Just hand sand them down a little bit. we got the top done, we got one whole side done. Check out all the excitement. And now luckily most of this varnish is in great shape, so there's nothing like really flying or chipping off and coming at you. It's pretty much dust. But like Brian said, if you're working on a wood project, a lot of times you don't think about oh, it's just dust, it's not really going to hit me in the eyes or anything like that. But you never know the condition of the finish here, so always a good idea to have it. We're doing pretty well here. We got some nice ventilation, so I can talk to you guys without sounding like although some of you probably prefer that, like, oh my god, is she still talking? Oh my god, put a dust mask on that chick. All right, so let me move on, and maybe from here, let's see what we got going on. Well, we have the other side, which is basically a repeat of this side. So I always like to try and keep things, do a different part of the project every time, and then tackle some of what you've seen after the stream, in which I will be taking Razor Splat's advice and flipping this thing on my side when no one's looking and I'm in my PJs, and sanding the rest of this. So anyways, we got a couple more drawers to finagle here with these cool handles. And again, if you guys are just joining us and you're like, what is going on, in here? So this is our Goku versus Superman battle dresser, in which we're gonna take these cool drawers here and overlay comic book pages on them. So I haven't decided yet if one drawer is Superman, then the other drawer is Goku, or maybe we do kind of like a burn mark and have them, kind of side by side as if they're like battling each other or something. So we're continuing on with this project, and you guys are seeing all the behind the scenes muscle work and leg work, so YouTube videos are not always glamorous, as you can see, but so it goes. And Razor Splat posted a little monster emoji. That's cool. All right, so I'm gonna wander on over to this camera over here. I'm scooching, and let's get him recording. Oh, it's almost dead. It's like, oh my god, it's taking its own self out. It's like I'm over this this build. Well, you and me both. All right, so I'm trying to do this. Part of the difficulty here is doing it in a way where you guys can see, because you guys are way more important than me. So even if I have to kind of origami myself around this drawer here, it's what you gotta do sometimes. All right, let me move this. I should bring Eeyore back in here. He's my little free helper. He works cheap. You just gotta give him like milk bones and stuff. Or Monopoly money, and he thinks it's money. He doesn't know the difference. All right. So one of the things I'm thinking about too with these handles is, as much as I like them, they're cool, like Asian inspired theme. Well, maybe it'd be kind of cool to find like blue glass or blue plastic clear ones to kind of symbolize Goku's energy ball. And I don't know, maybe something red for Superman, like his little laser eyes and stuff. That might be kind of cool, laser eyes versus Goku's power balls. But I always liked the history of comic books, and so for me, until recently, I didn't know that Superman was so rough and aggressive in the 1930s, and then in the 1940s they decided, you know what, we want to soften him up, make him kind of that person that everybody aspires to be. So he never really even, much like Goku, the both of them don't ever really kill their the bad guys. They let them live, they show mercy to them. So again, if you all know why these two guys got in a fight or supposed fight, let me know, because they seem like they're very, very similar. But much like Godzilla versus King Kong, people get into these debates, and I'm like, I think that's a tough one, because Godzilla is not only strong, but he's got the whole electrical laser beams and stuff, electricity coming off his body, whereas King Kong is just really, really strong. Depending on the movie you watch, he does have some superpowers in other in other movies, but all right. There we go. Let me turn this towards the camera so you can see what kind of origami I'm doing here. This makes no sense, but it makes sense in the final product when you see our clip show. So this project is actually for our show called Nerd Dungeon, and that show airs every Thursday live at 7. Sometimes it's me, sometimes it's one of my friends presenting a cool geek project. It can be cooking, it can be, you know, home decor like this, it could be prop making. We made a cool Han Solo blaster, and that was a lot of fun to make. And we're gonna put a laser pointer in there. So right now it's just like a non-functional prop gun that makes really lame sound effects because it is a toy gun that we converted over, but it'll be cool to put in some kind of like laser pointer. So that'll be coming up next. But any kind of projects that you guys want to see, let us know. We always like to tackle things. And then Razor Splat again is asking, you see that Godzilla anime on Netflix? It's new. So I did see it advertised, but I myself have not seen it yet. So that is definitely on my watch list. I'm actually quite behind when it comes to Netflix, because I'm here. But you know what? I should like put like a Netflix thing and just kind of like catch up with all that stuff, right? While I work. I mean, why not, right? All right, guys, so I'm gonna get a drink of water, kind of get my arms going again, and I'm gonna continue sanding. But you guys got to see some behind the scenes, and hopefully it was kind of cool, all the work that we put into some of these projects to show you guys later how it's all done. You guys can see some of the fails, why we do things, you know, my way of doing things. I always love to hear your guys' way of doing things. So this has been another live build hangout every Wednesday, unless I'm traveling, you know, but if I'm here, we're always streaming at 4 p.m. and we just kind of go until, well, mostly when I get tired. All right, so I'll see you guys next Tuesday and Wednesday for Gearhead Diva and another live build. So maybe I'll be still working on this, sanding away, hopefully not, or some other different project. So definitely put in the comments projects you want to see. We always like to tackle different topics that you like, other challenges, and we'll definitely tackle them. See you guys!